I welcome you all in this special exclusive program designed by JBN Agri and Food Industry Group convener Shri Pravinji Jain and co-convener Shri Abhinav Singhvi. Both will be taking us through the provisions. We are going to listen from the horse's mouth. We have Dr. G.R. Chintala, Chairman NABARD, one of the leading bank for refinancing all agriculture and rural related activities. Shri Kamalendra Srivastava ji is Director of NAFED. So we are going to have all of them here. The entire JBN team is working to make sure that you get the best out of this meeting. You can post them on the chat box. We have participation registered from 50 cities of India. 250 plus registration we have received. So people are going to join. They will be allowed in the room. We have just now sent all the participants an open Zoom link also, so that they don't face any difficulty in joining this special exclusive meeting on Zoom. I welcome all our experts who are there. Dr. G.R. Chintala ji, Chairman NABARD, Shri Kamalendra Srivastava ji, Shri Amith Agarwal ji, and Mrs. Sharmila Oswal ji. And now we are just 1 minute away to start the program. Over to you, Praveen ji, and you can take over. He's our moderator for the entire journey. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Rishabh ji. Within a few seconds, I will ask Himanshu bhai for the Nokar Matra video chanting.
So let me take this opportunity to introduce our chairman, Shri Sanjay Ji Jain.
Yes, Rishabh bhai, you go ahead.
Yeah. So Sanjay Ji Jain is managing director of TT Limited. He is chairman of Jito Business Network, double gold medalist from IIM Ahmedabad. He runs the organization with factories all across India, and he's created a lot of jobs for MSME. But he has also created jobs of thousands of cotton farmers because his major input is cotton. So he has written a book on recipe called Life, a pinch of salt in recipe called Life. So I welcome you, sir, just to formally launch this event on food and agri business. Sanjay ji.
Thank you. Sabko mera sadar Jai Jinendra. Welcome to everyone for this JBN Agri Meet, which will give great opportunities coming out from the budget and in general for the agri sector. I'd like to specifically welcome Dr. Chintala, NABARD Chairman, Mr. Kamalendra Srivastava, who also happens to be my neighbor from IIM Ahmedabad. So Kamalendra, thanks for joining in. It's always nice to see you. We also like to welcome Mr. Amith Agarwal and Sharmila ji Oswal. Thank you to all our speakers for joining and agreeing to spare time to really empower and upgrade our knowledge about various opportunities, schemes, incentives for this really massive but huge potential agri sector. JBN is a business network which spans not only across 67 cities in India, but also 11 cities globally. So we're a really big network of business people who are working day and night on various business fronts. We have 40 such industry groups with us, and agri and food processing is one of them. I personally have been involved in cotton in a very big way, right at the level at where we see R&D happening, at the ginning level, in the cotton policy making. And I strongly believe that agri is one sector we have huge potential. If anyone is looking at a new business idea, a new business opportunity, considering the focus of the government, the sort of backing they have, and the huge opportunity which India offers, because of the huge land area which is under agri, and the relatively very low productivity which our country has. Speaking specifically for cotton has an average yield of about 500 kgs per hectare, which is 25% of the yield which we are getting in Brazil, Australia, some of the top yielding countries. But we are even lower than Pakistan, which has 750 kgs per hectare yield. We are lower than China. We are lower than Africa or the world average. So I think so. Just like cotton gives a huge opportunity, by doing R&D, better agronomic practices, the whole economy for cotton. And obviously, if the crop is going to be bigger, we're going to see much more activity in the processing and value-added industry. Similarly, I would presume is the case for agri, but I'll leave it to the experts to tell us because they know more. I request while this program is going up for all participants, they can introduce themselves very briefly in the panel chat box so that people also know, and wherever they feel a common link is required, they can connect with you personally. It's a great opportunity not only to hear and build new connections with each other. So with these words, considering the huge opportunity, I am sure we're looking for a really exciting next 90 minutes with the best of best in this field who are going to be addressing us, telling us. I also personally also look forward to learning and seeing what are the new opportunities and gaps that we can probably capitalize being business people and accordingly seek to make more investments. Thank you once again to the speakers. Thank you to Praveen ji, Abhinav ji, Rishabh ji, and the full JBN team for bringing this all together. And it's nice that we've already touched a century of participants. I'm sure this number is going to grow in the next few minutes as people come in. So now back to Rishabh ji and Praveen ji for taking the session forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Thanks for your support as always. And welcome to all the participants, experts, speakers. Agriculture is most ancient and most noble profession, as we all know. And agriculture, when it's combined with the energy of youth and value processing, it can make our country a real Atmanirbhar Bharat with huge contribution to the not only to India's GDP to make it $5 trillion economy, but also in ancient time we used to contribute 30% of the world GDP, and today only 2%. So there is a big gap. There are miles to go. Now, what Union Budget has for us, Praveen ji, if you can just summarize, and then maybe we can start with the experts one by one as per the program flow. I'm going to push the program flow in the chat box so that everybody is aware. Please ask your questions. Question answer we will take up once the expert session will be over, and at the end 15 minutes. Thank you.
थैंक यू ऋषभ जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपको। मैं एक बात बोलना चाहता हूं, किसी टेक्निकल कारण से 100 से ज्यादा पार्टिसिपेंट्स ज्वाइन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो हम एक 30 सेकंड के लिए थोड़ा सा रुकेंगे और हमारी टेक्निकल टीम इसको देख रही है कि पार्टिसिपेंट्स क्यों नहीं रुक पा रहे हैं, क्यों नहीं जुड़ पा रहे हैं, ताकि इधर जो मैसेज आ रहे हैं तो वो 1 मिनट रुक जाएं, फिर मैं अपने कार्यक्रम को गति देते हैं।
मैं चाहूंगा कि हम इसको YouTube पे लाइव कर दें। आई विल रिक्वेस्ट माय एक्जी टीम टू प्लीज लाइव मेक इट लाइव ऑन YouTube so that those who cannot join can enjoy the program on YouTube also. Thank you.
Okay. तो shall I proceed?
Please proceed, Praveen ji.
आज के हमारे इस वेबिनार का उद्देश्य सिंपल इतना है कि बजट में जो चीज आई है, बजट बरसों से आते हैं, बजट के फिगर हम डिस्कस करते हैं, लेकिन उन बजट के आंकड़ों में, बजट में जो राशि आई है उसका हम अपने बिजनेस के एक्सपांशन के लिए, अपने नई इंडस्ट्री को खड़ा करने के लिए किस तरह से उपयोग करें, यह हमें जानकारी ही नहीं होती है। जैसे इस बार 40,000 करोड़ रुपया इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में सरकार ने प्रोवाइड किया हुआ है, ठीक है। अब उस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में क्या इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर होगा और कैसे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हम डेवलप करेंगे और हमारी नई कैसे इंडस्ट्री आती है। गवर्नमेंट का जो स्कीम होती है या जो तरीका होता है वो एक बिजनेसमैन उसको तुरंत कैचअप नहीं कर पाता है। आज हमें इस पे सलाह देने के लिए, इस पे हमें जानकारी देने के लिए हमारे बीच में इंडस्ट्री के एक्सपर्ट्स हैं। ठीक इसी तरह जैसे 10,000 करोड़ रुपया अगर वाटर मिशन में है तो वाटर मिशन से हम क्या इंडस्ट्री लगा सकते हैं, क्या हम ड्रिप इरिगेशन की फैक्ट्रियां लगाएं, क्या हम सिंचाई से रिलेटेड यूनिट लगाएं। 40,000 करोड़ का जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में पैसा आया है, क्या हम उससे कोल्ड स्टोरेज, कोल्ड चेन, क्लस्टर बेस्ड इंडस्ट्रीज या आईक्यू या क्या क्या कर सकते हैं, क्या संभावना है। ये हमारे बीच में उपस्थित हमारे कमलेंद्र श्रीवास्तव जी भी इस पे कुछ ध्यान डालेंगे। और इसी तरह की सब चीजों को लेके बजट के आंकड़ों पे नहीं जाकर मैं सिर्फ आज हमारे जो पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, जो हमारे सम्मानीय श्रोता हैं, उनसे भी अनुरोध करूंगा कि वो अपनी जो जिज्ञासा है वो चैट बॉक्स में डालें, जिसका मैं और ऋषभ जी और हमारे पैनलिस्ट, हमारे स्पीकर्स बराबर जवाब देंगे, जिससे हम ये निष्कर्ष निकाल कर जा सकें कि हम इस बजट को एक अपॉर्चुनिटी समझे, सिर्फ आंकड़ों का खेल ना समझे। हम इससे किस तरह की इंडस्ट्री ला सकते हैं, हम किस तरह से हमारे नए एंटरप्रेन्योर को इसमें ला सकते हैं। क्योंकि आज वर्तमान जो हालत है, आज नहीं बरसों से है कि बिना अच्छा खाए दुनिया नहीं चल सकती। हर आदमी, हर व्यक्ति हेल्दी फूड खाना चाहता है। उसको अच्छा कैसे मिले, कैसे वैल्यू चेन डेवलपमेंट हो। जैसे 1,000 मंडियों को जोड़ने का सरकार का प्रोग्राम है इनेम से, उसमें हम क्या एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप कर सकते हैं, हमारे लोग कैसे उस इंडस्ट्री को ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं। इन्वायरमेंट, फॉरेस्ट्री, वाइल्ड लाइफ की हम कहाँ टूरिज्म की संभावनाएं ढूंढ सकते हैं, है ना। इस तरह से कई चीजों पे हमारे स्पीकर्स हमें अपने एक्सपीरियंस से और हम उनके अपने ज्ञान से हमें लाभान्वित करेंगे। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं अब चाहूंगा कि अभिनव संघवी जी, शायद मेरे ख्याल से अभी टेक्निकल कारण से अभिनव संघवी स्टिल नॉट जॉइंड अस, तो
we will go with our expert Kamalendra
कमलेंद्र
ji. So
श्रीवास्तव जी।
Akshay Jain, please introduce Kamalendra ji, and then Mr. Kamalendra ji will ask the questions to him. Akshay, please.
Srivastava Saab is a agribusiness professional with cross-functional management expertise at senior levels across industries in FMCG, agriculture, and commodity trading in public and private sectors. As the business leader, he has set up and launched businesses in commodities supply chain, provided vision, leadership, and delivery of supply chain metrics inclusive of procurement, warehousing, and distribution. He has been delivering excellent results during more than 25 years of experience in effective running of enterprises. An alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad, holding postgraduate diploma in management agriculture, Srivastava Saab also holds BTech in agriculture engineering from University of Allahabad. Besides, he is also SAP certified functional consultant in total supply chain management. Currently with NAFED as executive director, Srivastava Saab is based in New Delhi. We welcome you, sir. Kindly enlighten our participants by sharing your wisdom and experience. Thanks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Akshay, and welcome Shri Kamalendra ji Srivastava. Dear sir, we have a question coming from our participants that, sir, agriculture, as we all know, that 30% of the fruits and vegetables are lost in farm itself, and there is a dire need to develop small but sustainable agriculture infrastructure to increase the shelf life. It is not possible without investing in cold chain, warehousing, freeze drying technology, extraction of industry ready input from the raw fruit and vegetable. Sir, do you see any budget addressing these challenges faced by the small agri startups? We have seen access to capital available, digital agri-tech, in सबको पैसा मिलता है, but do you see a similar access of capital is also available to grassroots startup working on value processing? Please enlighten us that how we can get into these kind of ventures.
Thank you, Akshay ji, for the introduction, and I welcome all the participants for this webinar. I thank you, G2, actually, for giving me this opportunity to speak. As regards the queries concerned, see, agriculture as such, we understand actually it's not just a ministry actually. Agriculture, if we say per se, if we look at the budget, there are a host of ministries that are intermingled actually with this. For example, if you go to, if you want to do irrigation, actually it's basically the Water Resources Ministry. Agriculture, in fact, definitely is there in agriculture itself. The Ministry of Agriculture, as it is there, itself there are 3 departments involved in this. Mainly Department of Agriculture and Cooperation. Then agricultural research is there, and animal husbandry and fisheries are there. So besides that, actually, if there is some requirement for the finance, actually, there is Ministry of Finance is required, and like that, actually. So there are around 16 or 17 ministries which are intertwined, actually. As regards to your specific question, Rishabh ji, that the 30% wastage of fruit and vegetables, actually. Yes, it's a fact, actually, but pegging a figure, actually, of 30%, I think there are different studies in the domain, and they have highlighted, given different figures, actually. It depends on the basically upkeep and basically pre-cooling stage and at the harvesting time, and then the logistics challenges that we have. So there are various challenges, and cold chain obviously is one of the solutions, actually. As regards the small stakeholders, there are, yes, of course, there are innovative schemes that have done, actually. There are different cold chambers or say pre-cooling devices that have been developed by technologies available. The need is to promulgate that and to make it accessible to different stakeholders, those who are interested. For example, there is a Kaboot, actually, which was developed sometime by Bayer India, which is a small refrigerator, actually. Similarly, there are solar paneled small cold storages, which are low cost, actually, as compared to the cold chain, actually, which will cost you enormously, actually, much higher level. Regarding your second part of your question, regarding the funding for the startups in the agri domain, yes, and technology, in fact, agriculture has been kind of left behind in terms of technology. There was a time of agriculture that agriculture was seen as only bullock cart, a bullock and a plow, actually. But then came mechanization, and then came the digitization agriculture. Actually, then we have got now drones, and then this other things, actually, that are technology that is developing, actually. As regards the funding, actually, for the new startups in the agricultural domain, yes, as I already said, EdTech has been dominant receiver of the funds, but there are schemes. Actually, for example, there are various institutions, academic institutions, ICAR channel, ICAR system, or say beyond ICAR system, where there are incubation centers, actually. They provide seed, not only seed funding, actually, they look actually with the ideas with the investors. Few of them are in the ICAR, actually, we have got IARI, we have got a ZPD. Then there are zonal business development centers are there directly for the ICAR network. There is a company called Agri-Food, which aims at commercialization of agricultural technologies. And regarding funding, actually, I suggest actually to begin with the agricultural incubation centers, actually, at these some of the prominent institutions, including IITs and IIM Ahmedabad and other places. Actually, they would be a right place, actually, to begin with for seed capital funding and linking with the investors besides networking event. I hope I have answered. If there's something left, kindly let me know.
Yeah, I think you have answered. There are a lot of schemes which our agriculture startup, agri-venture startup, I would say, can also take the advantage of, because agri-tech is the buzzword, but actual execution lies in the grassroots. So I will now ask all our participants to please raise the questions regarding the expert session. And sir, can you tell us a little bit about NAFED and its role in terms of what kind of a private public participation is possible in terms of fruits and vegetables per se, because that is considered as a high profit business as of now. A lot of startups are coming. So what is the role of NAFED in this?
Okay. NAFED as such is a multi-state cooperative federation. It is, for example, this Amul is you will recognize in the field of milk. Actually, there's IFCO and CRIPCO. They are in the field of fertilizer. NAFED
sir, I think there is a voice.
Commodities actually.
Yeah, now it is better.
The output that has been the main mandate. Besides that, it grassroots level, then which are the member society. Yeah.
Yeah, it is now audible.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah. As regards the role of NAFED, it is basically kind of central nodal agency for procurement of oilseed and pulses by the government of India. Like FCI actually is in the field of nodal agency for the wheat and rice. NAFED is designated actually for the oilseed and pulses. And besides that, actually, of late, the NAFED has started diversification. So they are also diversifying into horticultural produce. They are not only, in fact, last year we undertook procurement of apples from Kashmir, actually after difficult circumstances and after repeal of Section 370. Then we are also not only for protection of the farmers, actually that is the PSS, price support scheme, that is other MSP procurement. We also undertake actually for the government of India Department of Consumer Affairs for the price stabilization fund, actually that implementation of the price stabilization fund scheme. So we recently controlled the prices of onions actually when the last 2 years they were running high. So we try to control. And there are in fact similarly various diversification of the schemes, as for example, channel has come up. For example, taking advantage of the recently launched agri-infrastructural scheme that was launched during the COVID period for 1 lakh crore. We are constructing warehouses on pan-India basis, linking with the aim to bring the warehouses actually at the to the farm gate level, where the small stakeholders actually can benefit. The size of the warehouse may be 1,000 tons, 2,000 tons, 5,000 tons, besides construction of the larger warehouses. We are providing them the support actually in terms of the hand-holding, in terms of the guidance for the various subsidy, the development of DPR, linking them with the construction agencies, linking with them with the financial institutions actually, and besides the making available the subsidy actually, which is currently available from the Department of Agriculture actually on the DMI scheme to the extent of 25% subject to upper limit of 75 lakhs. So that's the thing we are doing. We are also in the area of agri-waste management, where we are setting up this CBG plants actually, compressed biogas, that is turning the waste actually to the energy actually with the guidance actually, direction from the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas actually under Satat scheme, where the produced biogas will be bought actually through the grid of the Indian Oil or say other HPCL or whichever the grid is available actually for this thing, for the mixing actually, running of the various components actually for as a fuel. Besides the converting of the manure actually, which we are intend to utilize in the organic farming. Apart from that, we are in the process of establishing cold chain. For the horticultural produce, we are establishing various cold stores. Though we already have some storage capacity in terms of warehouses and the cold stores, we are intending to develop cold chains for the horticultural produce. And we are also the implementation agency for the Operation Greens actually for the Government of India Ministry of Food Processing, where there is a scheme top to total that has been recently launched in the new budget. The already top scheme was already there is tomato, onion, and potato. There is 50% subsidy actually from the transfer actually in the transportation and storage of the horticultural produce actually from the deficit, the prices where there is glut, the prices are low to the prices running high actually. There is a portal called Muse actually, market information and early warning system, which keeps tracks of the prices actually, whether there are hot spot, where there are low spots actually, where the movement is possible. And then initially, though it's already developed for the tomato, onion, potato, which are the mass consumption vegetables, but recently it has been enlarged by the Government of India to 22 crops actually. Various fruits and vegetables are there. We can guide actually those who are interested actually in this domain, apart from the warehousing and the agri-waste management or say any other scheme that is available actually. Besides, we are also in the international trade actually, that government contract because we are procuring pulses, wheat and rice actually as central agency. Seed development is the business is there. Then there is biofertilizer actually and other fertilizer products that are there. So that's a brief about NAFED actually. The last turnover was around 20,000 crores, and this year we hope to clock in at about 25,000 crores actually. That's a brief about
Great.
that.
Great.
I have one information to share. One of our member from Ludhiana, last week I was in Ludhiana. He's also in the room. So
Sir.
he's a apple man. He has been awarded by Himachal. Like in 2 years, he has developed a seed variety that in 2 years we can grow the apple. So we
Rishabh
also
ji.
welcome you in the room. Yeah, please, Praveen
Yeah,
ji.
Rishabh ji, just
Yes.
I am interrupting you. Dr. G.R. Chintala Sahab, Chairman NABARD, has joined us. It's a great moment for us. So we will change our priority, and we ask the Abhinav Sanghvi to introduce Dr. Chintala Sahab, and you are welcome, sir.
Dr. G.R. Chintala ji is the chairman of National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development NABARD with effect from 27th May 2020. Previously, he was the managing director of NAFED, a subsidiary of NABARD headquarters in Bangalore. Dr. G.R. Chintala ji is a postgraduate from the prestigious Indian Agriculture Research Institute in Delhi. Joined NABARD as an officer and worked in the various capacity at the head office of the all different major metro cities in India. He was also the vice president of Agribusiness Finance Limited, Hyderabad, and the director of Banker Institute of Rural Development, BIRD, Lucknow. He has handled several consultancy assignments, including a significant one on roadmap for amalgamation of regional rural banks that are consolidated of 196 regional rural banks. Dr. G.R. Chintala ji, over to you.
Yeah, Chintala, yes, we have introduced you, sir. Sir, Chintala, sir, you join me.
So I will request you to put the spotlight on Dr. G.R. Chintala ji, please. Welcome, sir. We welcome Dr. G.R. Chintala, Chairman NABARD, who is going to tell us about the various changes which has been brought into the union budget. And thank you, sir, for giving us the time in your hectic schedule. You are in northeastern state right now, as I understand. And sir, we would like to ask that agriculture in India is driven by smallholder farmer or contract farmer. Largely 80% of them are less than 2 hectares of land under cultivation. But how we will become $5 trillion economy? Because we need size, skill and scale. And role of NABARD is very critical because the budget allocation for FPO growth in the country, where the group of farmer can access the institutional credit, refinancing, subsidies, grants, and forward linkage, smart irrigation, value processing, which can fetch them better profit, and also investor can be enthused to come in this agri space. Do you see union budget addressing the agripreneurship in FPO model, sir?
Yeah. First of all, thanks to you and the organizers. I was moving in Northeast for the past 3 days, and I was not sure whether really I can get connected because of the connectivity issues. But it's very nice to join all of you to discuss the very important topic, that is, what is there in budget for the agriculture. Now, I am extremely happy to say that this budget is one of the most forward-looking budget which we have seen in the recent years. As everybody was telling for quite some time as to how India should look like. Now, the last year's economic survey report, and also every time they say that now, if the country has to progress well, it has to invest in the infrastructure. So now that infrastructure can be the roads, can be the maybe any other kind of a thing on the railways, maybe the airports, normal ports and everything. But thing is, agriculture infrastructure is a very important thing, and where this government has addressed. So I'll say that now, as you are rightly telling that we have maybe 80% of the farmers. This number I can see it's not 80%, it is 86%. We have close to around 14 crores of farmers in the country, of which 86% are the small and marginal farmers, who are having less than a hectare of a land. And these are the people who are the mainstay of our Indian agriculture production. Now today, for quite some time, India was doing so many things for increasing the production and productivity. And we have reached such kind of a stage that now we are producing close to 300 plus million tons of food grains, maybe close to 35 million tons of oil seeds, pulses, cotton, fruits and vegetables, which we are crossing 300 million tons. It is something very phenomenal thing that has happened. But now the time has come for us to see that how this production is sustained. And second thing is how this production is rooted to a kind of creating value products. and also the market-oriented products. So that is where this new budget is a very kind of a forward-looking, as we are telling that now. When we made a suggestion to Union government that this during the pandemic period when everybody was sitting at home, some people are not sitting at home. That is, the farmers never sat at home. Agricultural laborer never sat at home. The fellow who was lifting the bales and putting in the lorry, he was not sitting at home. The super bazaar or maybe the final retailer was not sitting at home. Everybody was doing their job, but most of us were sitting at home and getting the things at our place. So now seeing that one, we felt that agriculture is going to post a very good kind of a progress, and our hopes were not belied. And agriculture this year had posted substantial growth. As you have seen the statistics, almost 4% positive growth rate is happening only in agriculture as against the negative growth rate in other sectors. So that time when the Union Minister was making the budget, the preparations to the budget, we made a kind of a request to the government saying that I'm talking to all the chief ministers, and maybe for the information of the audience, I will say that now during the pandemic, a great thing had happened is that many of the state governments started investing in the infrastructure, agri-related infrastructure. Some are in the lift irrigation, some are in the minor irrigation scheme, some creating something else. And in some states, it is the interlinking of rivers. Actually, this is also being attempted. Now they are taking money not only from RADF, even we got a different scheme called NADA, even under that NABARD infrastructure development scheme also, things have come. So now, imagine this year, we have sanctioned 30,000 crores of money under the Rural Infrastructure Development Fund at 2.75%. While another 20,000 crores we have sanctioned at a normal commercial rate, but the state governments are taking to create infrastructure. So now when all these facts are presented, we request the government that there is a need to hike this infrastructure fund. So now we are very happy that State Government of India has acceded to the request, and they made this whole infrastructure development fund as 40,000 crores. Apart from that, they gave another 5,000 crores for the micro irrigation fund. Then addressing your other issue, really how the small farmers needs can be addressed and what are the issues. Now I say that now, definitely small farmers are very good in production, because if you look into the productivity per se, small farmers' productivity levels are much higher because they put their laborers and they treat them it as a very good enterprise. But the only thing is they lack the scale by selling the produce. So that is where the traders cheat them. So now farmer producers organizations, which NABARD started experimenting for the past 8 years. We have already promoted close to around 4,500 farmer producers organizations earlier, and also that SFAC also promoted some. But now our experience with this farmer producers organization, which is nothing but the collectivization of the farm activities, where maybe 400 or 500 small farmers can come together. They can form a collective called the farmer producers organization or a farmer producer company. And these companies are getting maybe quite a lot of concessions also, and also maybe the equity infusion from the government side, and also the loans at a reasonable rate from institutions like NAB Kisan and also maybe the other banks also. So now, out of these 4,500 farmer producer organizations or companies NABARD has floated in the past 8 years, 2,000 of them are doing quite a lot of a business. The business range is between 50 lakhs to 15 crores. Imagine 50 lakhs to 15 crores is the kind of a business these farmer producers are doing. And that is the might of this collectivization of the farmers' efforts. So now really how it is going to help? It is going to save on inputs close to around 20% because of that mass bargain that for the input dealer, they can do it. And another 20% by way of maybe getting that value addition and other things. So in that way, this farmer producers organization are doing quite a lot. And the next one is that once this Government of India new scheme of 10,000 FPOs has come for the next 4 years, and this is also going to give quite a lot of a mileage to this entire collectivization efforts. Besides that, actually we are telling and we have already done, that is the dovetailing of the existing schemes with this kind of a farmer organization. Now, not only farming activities, you just take the case of micro irrigation fund. This micro irrigation fund is creating the drip and the sprinkler irrigations to various kinds of maybe the farming activities. And it's a very concessional rate. The states have to sign an agreement with the Government of India and NABARD, and afterwards they will get this concessional finance. which in turn will be given to the small farmers. Right now, with the existing 5,000 crores, close to 4,000 crores have already been sanctioned. And in that 4,000 crores, 7 states have signed this one. Around 12 lakh hectares have already been covered under this micro irrigation. And the 15th Finance Commission report says that there is a requirement to convert at least 98 lakh hectares for this kind of a water use efficiency systems. So now based on that, we requested government that another 5,000 crores should be given to this kind of thing for the time being. And we are very happy that Government of India has given that 5,000 crores. So now that is also one very great thing. And maybe more and more states may come into this one, which is not only going to increase the water use efficiency, increase the production, productivity, and also income at the level of the farmers, and also save the ecology also, because now that climate change also will get maybe a little bit of addressed by this kind of a less water use and in a more productive. And these things are happening. Actually, we feel that the time is right for us to go into maybe the next post-harvest kind of an activities. Really, how to create the godowns, cold storages, agri markets, processing facilities, and also trying to go for the exports. We are telling everywhere from NABARD side and also to the government also, every time we are telling that now this 25-30 billion dollars which we are exporting is peanuts when compared to the potential we are having. The agricultural potential, export potential should be somewhere around $100 billion. If that is the case, the infrastructure that is going to be created by way of this RADF and other things is going to create a very good kind of a ecosystem so that Indian agriculture can become even export oriented also, besides meeting the domestic. And the next important thing is with regard to the food processing. Now that Government of India has already got a scheme and it is gaining traction. And besides that, now we feel that now the way the Government of India is addressing the issues, many of the food processing industries may come into being. So we can remove that stigma of that India not processing more than 3 or 5% of its agricultural produce. If we can graduate up to even 10%, that itself is almost 2x of this one. And if you can graduate to 20%, I think most of the issues which we are facing right now, rotting of the vegetables, rotting of the fruits, not having the remunerative price, everything will be addressed. Like in many countries, if you have seen maybe the countries like Switzerland, maybe Brazil, or maybe the Thailand and others, many times the farmers are not having this kind of an issue that their produce is not getting enough price. They will definitely get their cost plus 50% at any point of time when the markets are buying at some kind of a thing. So now the time has come, particularly you are all the chartered accountants and maybe advising so many industrialists, the time has come to put some kind of a food processing industries everywhere. Some subsidies are available from Government of India, some of which are administered by NABARD and some of the others. And the concessional finance are there, interest subventions are there for some schemes or others. So in that way, if we look into maybe the whole chapter of things that are there, I think so many positive points are there, and agriculture in the days to come definitely is a very good kind of a maybe an enterprise that is going to come. And lastly, I will say before I answer your next question, in case if you have, that now this year, as you are aware, that now the bank credit is the one which is the engine of growth of Indian agriculture. This year, 15 lakh crores is the target, that is up to 31st March 21. And everybody was having a doubt, really during this pandemic, something happens or not. But you all will be surprised, as on 27th of January, the amount that has been disbursed was 11.8 lakh crores out of 15 lakh crores. And we made an assessment saying that no, next year it will be 16.5 lakh crores. And the finance minister also has announced that is the one, because government also makes the assessment. So next year it will be 16.5 lakh crores is the crop loan or the term loans, that is the allied activities. Besides this RADF, besides maybe other things. And also, if you read the fine print, somewhere government has put some 900 crores, maybe they made some kind of allocation, probably to give the interest subvention to various activities. That is the Agri-Infrastructure Fund. That is the 1 lakh crore in Agri-Infrastructure Fund over a period of 4 years. That this year it was 10,000 crores, or this 10,000 crores, NABARD itself has committed to give 5,000 crores. And to everybody's glee, I can say that now already 3,000 crores worth of sanctions we have given, and the remaining things also we will do it. So in that way, a very great kind of a agri infrastructure is also coming at the ground level. So now in case if you just look back after 5 years, you will say that so much of a thing has been created for making Indian agriculture a very competitive. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are hats off to the effort at which from Ladakh to Kanyakumari and Bhuj to Arunachal, NABARD is actually doing a great work of connecting the Bharat with India. And here in this room, we have both representative of Bharat as well as India. So we say that we are one. And sir, you said about infrastructure fund, 1 lakh crore, out of which 10,000 crore has been earmarked. Now, we also heard that government announced that by 2030, 26 million hectare of the degraded wasteland will be developed by the India to combat the climate change. Now, we have seen that climate change is becoming real threat to the entire world, all the nations. And India has committed to develop now pre-harvest as well as post-harvest. Both infrastructure need to be there to make this profitable, because people are investing in real estate, they are investing in agriculture. Why somebody will invest in wasteland? So how NABARD is going to give this kind of incentive to
No, that's why now what is meant by wasteland? Wasteland is maybe either a fallow land, otherwise we are not able to do it, or maybe there is some kind of a problem with regard to development of resources. So now I think the government of India's vision of that, developing that 26 lakh hectares, I think it is not a very, maybe I can say a far-fetched one. It can happen because during this climate change, there are two things that are happening. One is the desertification is happening at a faster pace. So now the time has come for all of us to stop the desertification. So now if we have to stop the desertification, we have to attempt this climate change in a very big way. So now that is one is climate smart agriculture. Climate smart agriculture compared that soil smart, seed smart, all these kinds of things have to be done. And the second thing is we have to stop the desertification. That is, use as less water as possible, produce as more as possible, so that actually you have to create such kind of an ecosystem where the farmers should not feel that maybe now because the water is plenty that he can just go on abusing it. So now that is where now that climate, that water smart agriculture also has to come. So we are working on this. So NABARD is the national implementing entity for the Green Climate Fund and also the NAFCC projects. And we have seen in many places really how these climate change projects which we have adopted are doing the results. Today, I am right now in Shillong, and morning I went to one district called Riboy in Shillong, that is Meghalaya. And we are pleasantly surprised that our project, the climate change project, which is being implemented in collaboration with the government, had revived close to around 100 springs, which were almost about to die, actually because we made that kind of a treatment through this project. And this is going to give the sustainability, and this water, as morning they are telling that the revival of springs, that is through the spring shed approach, are creating threefold benefit to the people, to the community. One is it's assuring 100% drinking water, 100% water for the sanitation facilities, and 100% water for the irrigation. Now, this is the way that wastelands can be converted. Otherwise, in case had we not treated these springs, probably the entire area would have become a wasteland. So now the time has come for us to go into this wasteland development. This wasteland development is now that already the wastelands which are already there, which are maybe left fallows or maybe something, it can be done. We have seen in one project in Ladakh where generally in the cold desert, generally nothing was grown earlier in somewhere in Ladakh. But thing is, one agency has done a wonderful job by just earmarking, taking some 100 acres of land or 500 acres of land, and they created the irrigation source. Because now you say that maybe that in Ladakh also there is a lot of snow somewhere, but at the same time in the normal period nothing will grow. So actually they channelized that kind of a glacier water to irrigate the field. So now they are cultivating in Ladakh also, they are cultivating walnuts, they are cultivating apples, and that is how the entire wasteland has to be done. Now in other parts of the country, the wastelands can be because of the salinity, because of the alkalinity, because of the desertification, because of maybe acidity, or maybe because the farmers have migrated somewhere and the lands were left fallow. So now the time has come to address all these issues. Then we are converting maybe at least maybe 1 or 2 million hectares of land every year, agricultural land, into the real estate land. We have to bring more and more maybe the wasteland into that agriculture. Then only we will be able to sustain that agricultural production. So now the government's program is very good, and we will also devise ways as to really how to go it. Maybe to give maybe concessional finances and also encouraging farmers to convert the waste into the productive lands.
Thank you, sir. Your replies are really, helping our audience and participant to, excited about entering into this space. One question which is coming is on the lottery system. I think there is some lottery system which NABARD is adopting to, grant the project or something. So people have asked some question in the chat box that how this is it some automation which NABARD is following to give the projects or give the approvals or something.
What is that lottery? Actually, we are not aware.
Yeah, so I'm also I'm getting this question from
the chat. Some Chinese app has created that kind of a lottery, not NABARD.
So NABARD is not, so that is clearly answered by our chairman that there is nothing. So I will ask.
Absolutely, there is no lottery. And now Praveen Jain also he's looking at. I can say that absolutely there is nothing called a lottery. NABARD has got a kind of a rating matrix for every kind of thing. Suppose now, if somebody applies for a project, particularly the developmental projects, we have a system of assessing that entire maybe the NGO or maybe the organization which is doing it. In case if they qualify, it's actually NABARD is the only organization which goes to that kind of implementing and says if they are good, we are after them to just push the money and do the things. Now today I was having almost an hour chat with Sri Conrad Sangmaji. He was so extremely happy with the way the NABARD's interventions had helped the community here. With regard to the ginger production, with regard to the turmeric production, and also maybe creating now, even the oil palm production also, we are just telling that something can happen. Now, so many things are happening. Definitely that we have no lottery system. Don't be under the kind of impression that NABARD does the lottery.
Yeah.
If you have a viable project as an NGO, you can approach our regional office. Our DDMs in the districts, they are the ones, they are the first filter, because they will try look into your local presence, what exactly is the capability of agency. Once they screen it and it goes to the regional office, and from there it comes to the head office. Absolutely nothing. It's absolutely transparent. Anytime, any one of you can come and see really how we have done the projects.
Sir,
great, sir. Praveen, you want to raise questions? Praveen ji, please.
Just I have no question at all. Just I want to introduce Chairman sir. The Rishabh Sawansuga, he has asked the question. He is developing the wasteland in Ladakh he has a mission to develop the more than 1 lakh acres of the land, or he is doing great work on that.
I am very glad, sir, that you referred Ladakh project. I am involved with that project for last 5 years.
Yes. And he has a target to develop the 1 lakh acres of the land in Ladakh, and he will cultivate the saffron and hing in the Ladakh. It is his dream project, sir.
Sir,
yes,
I have
actually that entire India, in the entire India, that Ladakh is the only place where you can cultivate hing. Now already some of the saplings were brought from Afghanistan, and they are, I think, being tried there. And we have created a Ladakh development project from NABARD side. We gave it to the finance ministry. We made a plan for J&K also. So now things will happen. Now it's 1 lakh hectares is a very thing, because now that so much of a coordinated effort has to happen. I cannot say just like that, because it's a union territory directly controlled by union government.
Yeah.
But definitely things are going to happen.
The idea is not to develop Ladakh only, it is all the across, and Mr. ML Mantu is the person behind Ladakh, this thing. His vision is very unique, that under cooperative model things can be developed. And considering the Indian things, cooperative is like Amul, we need thousands of Amul. And there we can invite the investors also, like people in this room who would like to invest in the cooperative. This is the time they can institutionally invest by creating the right funds registered with SEBI. And I'm sure NABARD will be there always to support.
That is why we are telling everybody should form into the farmer producers organizations or FPCs. And that is the sure way of doing it. There will be no bureaucratic control, but at the same time it is a farmer owned, farmer controlled, and farmer designed aspirational kind of operation. Definitely think so.
Great, sir. We have one of the expert panelists, Mrs. Sharmila Oswal ji. She is working with the women empowerment on the digital women warrior and also water diplomat for India and Singapore. So she will share some of her experience later on. So now we would like to open this channel for the other expert. We have Mr. Amith Agarwal from Star Agri on the post-harvest side. What is happening? How the startups are coming forth, and what kind of an opportunity he sees. So I will request our Mr. Amith Agarwal to be introduced, please. And then, sir, we would request you that if you can stay for some more time with us. The interesting discussions are happening, and I would like to say that we have people from Uganda, Kenya, all Indians who are into large-scale agriculture. We have Mr. Ranjit Sali,
This
an
this
Indian.
this Purvi
Indian-
Sakla is from Netherlands, is also joining us.
Yeah, from Netherlands. So these are Indian agripreneurs, sir. Mr. Ranjit is doing 26,000 hectare of development in Uganda. He is doing active agriculture of lot of fruits, lot of nutraceutical value, high value herbs and all. They are also looking at India as their own motherland, that what all opportunities budget has provided and whether they can come and do something in India. So they are also in this room, and we are really thankful that you give your time, your precious time, to discuss about this, what union budget has brought for all of us. So I will request now Mr. Amith Agarwal to please get introduced. So Pravinji,
Yeah,
I will request.
okay.
Mr.
I will ask Abhishek Abhinav to introduce Sri
Amith Agarwal.
I will ask Sri Punitji Chaudhary to introduce Mr. Amith Agarwal. Punitji Chaudhary, please go ahead.
जय जिनेंद्र, आप सभी को मेरा प्रणाम और जीतो के सभी पदाधिकारियों को और जो सभी लोग यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं उन सभी को प्रणाम और धन्यवाद इस अपॉर्चुनिटी को जनरेट करने के लिए सावन सुखा जी और प्रवीण जी और हमारे संजय जी जैन। अमित जी का मैं इंट्रोडक्शन क्या दूं, वो एक ऐसे व्यक्तित्व हैं जिन्होंने बहुत ही हम्बल बैकग्राउंड से, वो मेरी तरह राजस्थान के एक जिले से आते हैं, बहुत ही हम्बल बैकग्राउंड से हैं और मेरी तरह बैंकिंग में थे। बैंकिंग करते करते उनको समझ में आ गया कि अगर सोशल इम्पैक्ट करना है, बड़ा इम्पैक्ट, एक ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव चेंज लाना है, तो अपने को रूट से जुड़ना पड़ेगा। उसके बाद उन्होंने ये डिसाइड किया कि अपने को एग्रीकल्चर से रिलेटेड कुछ करना है। तो 2006 में उन्होंने एक कंपनी स्टार्ट करी जिसमें उन्होंने वेयर हाउसिंग का काम किया और वो आज इंडिया की सेकंड लार्जेस्ट वेयर हाउसिंग है। हम सबको प्राउड होना चाहिए कि एफसीआई के मौजूद होते हुए उन्होंने इस स्केल पे काम किया कि आज उनके खुद के 9 बड़े वेयर हाउसेस हैं। उसके बावजूद उन्होंने इस सेक्टर में आगे बढ़ते हुए 2014 में एक एनबीएफसी स्टार्ट करी जिसका नाम स्टार एग्री रखा। वेयर हाउसिंग का नाम स्टार एग्री वेयर हाउसिंग है और आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को यूज करते हुए उन्होंने एक स्टार्टअप बनाया और वो उसके को फाउंडर और सीईओ हैं और काफी कैपिटल भी रेज करी और उनको काफी सारे अवार्ड्स मिले हैं। वन ऑफ द मोस्ट अवार्डेड पर्सन इन मुंबई एंड इंडिया फॉर एग्रीकल्चर एंड एग्री रिलेटेड बिजनेसेस। इनके स्टार्टअप का नाम है एग्री बाजार, जिसपे कि ट्रांजैक्शंस तो वो करवाते ही हैं क्योंकि इनका ध्येय, इनका ध्यान फार्मर्स के और सबकी इनकम अपलिफ्टमेंट पे और ओवरऑल सेक्टर के बेनिफिट पे है। तो ये पीपल फर्स्ट और प्रॉफिट लेटर पे बिलीव रखते हैं, बहुत ही सिंपल बैकग्राउंड से आते हैं और मैंने तो फिर भी ईएमआई पे लोन लेकर के घर खरीद लिया। इन्होंने आज तक इतनी कैपिटल रेज करी, घर नहीं खरीदा बॉम्बे में। ये इनकी सीक्रेट बात मैं आप सबको बता रहा हूँ। इनका पूरा ध्यान 24 घंटे बिजनेस पे रहता है। मैं इनको 11 बजे भी रात को फोन करता हूँ, हमेशा फोन उठाते हैं और हमेशा जवाब देते हैं और हमेशा कोई ना कोई सोल्यूशन देते हैं मेरे को। तो मैं आपको इसी के साथ आमंत्रित करता हूँ। अमित जी, आपने समय दिया एक शॉर्ट नोटिस पे, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। ओवर टू यू सर, आपका विजन जानेंगे, आपकी सोच जानेंगे, क्या क्या अपॉर्चुनिटी हमारे सामने है। थैंक यू प्रवीण जी, थैंक यू ऋषभ जी।
Punitji Chaudhary, humble introduction. He is a head of Aditya Birla Finance Limited Debt Financing and Institutional Financing. He is also convener for JBN Banking and Finance Division and also part of the JPF team. Thank you, Punitji, and over to you, Amit ji. Amit ji, I would like to ask one question, little bit ticklish, but as you are, really star agri के आप star हैं. So agri-tech, digital farming, these are the real buzzwords for IIT IIM grades today. We have observed the trend of joining AgTech and 600 startups are already working in this space in India alone. What are the key budget highlights you observe for agripreneurship opportunity in cold chain, warehousing, post-harvest, e-NAM integrated agriculture market? Do you see any opportunity for innovative area like quality certification, soil testing, automation in warehousing, B2B marketplace, sorting, packing? न जाने कितने सारे आयाम हैं जिनके ऊपर आप बात करेंगे तो शायद काफी हम एनलाइटेंड फील करेंगे। एंड फार्म गेट पे हाउ डू यू सी कैपिटल एलोकेशन बाय प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स टू बिल्ड द इकोसिस्टम व्हिच इज विन विन फॉर फार्मर एज वेल एज द इन्वेस्टर?
Thank you, Rishabh ji. Thank you, Puneet ji. And thanks, Jito, for inviting me here. Good evening, friends. It is pleasure to be addressing this gathering of young dreamers and entrepreneurs and business leaders and from across various cities. Thank you, Dr. Chintale. Thank you, Mr. Kamalendra Srivastava from NAFED, and both of them, covered most of the points, and they are the you can say agri leaders or agri thinkers in India, and I am very small in front of them to speak about anything in front of them. But let me again give my thoughts to what is my thinking on budget and what is happening in agri world. So coming straight to the this year budget, let me congratulate Madam FM Srimati Sitaraman for futuristic bold budget to showcase how this government is thinking young and ready to experiment with the new times. Earlier we used to see that the previous FMs used to have a briefcase, and now Madam has discarded that thing, and now budget speech is all shortened, and it is already in your tablets. So the government is now is thinking quite straight and plus digital. So I would say digital is a way forward, and we can enhance a lot of productivity through digital technologies in agri sector. Today I would start one of the critical thing which FM has announced, which is a for any this credit limits around 16.5 lakh crore for the upcoming year. So I think it's a very good move, and a lot of funding will happen in this sector. I've seen in India, every part of India, there are a lot of entrepreneurs are there in agri sector, but 90% entrepreneurs are not able to raise equity capital from the VC funds and private equity funds. Since I started India's first agri startup in 2006, Star Agri, and I raised 2 rounds of money. But I at the same time, even 100 entrepreneurs started from Rajasthan and Haryana, Punjab, many other businesses, but they were not able to raise equity capital. But government has ensured now that this credit enhancement will give them debt funding, and nowadays that is it's very reasonable, around 7.5%. So it's like solving a very big problem of entrepreneurs, and the availability of fund, whether debt or equity, it will strengthen the business models. So that's I think that's a very good move from government side. Secondly, this rural infra development fund has been raised to rupees 40,000 crore from 30,000 crore of last year. So it will be spent in 3 areas majorly. One is agri, you can say infrastructure, second rural connectivity, and third is a social sector. So agri entrepreneur, definitely they will benefit from this fund. Somebody want to set up a small farm gate facility. So I think these kind of scheme and this kind of infra related fund definitely give the advantage to the entrepreneurs, and these schemes will, I think, will be shared by the respective authorities soon. And but definitely these farm gate infrastructure will create a massive opportunities. Recently this government has also announced to create 10,000 FPOs. FPO is a it's a collective collective you can say uh, uh, efforts by the farmers, and it is a, you can say, advanced version of cooperatives. But now FPO is so powerful, they can raise money from banks, and they can create infrastructure. They can run their own mandis, they can buy in bulk, they can sell in bulk. So FPO is a in next 10 years, I think, is for FPOs. Already 1600 FPOs are working very efficiently, and they are profitable, and working for farmers, and they have also increased productivity. So if somebody, but FPO at the same time, FPO has a lot of challenge. Like somebody, create a accounting system for them, somebody create a ERP system for them. So it's a massive opportunity for entrepreneurs to work for FPOs and give them, support system to run their organization effectively. Like, they don't have HR system, they don't have like, proper IT system. If somebody, give them, such kind of services, especially specialized services for FPOs, then, it's a, very good business model for like, for FPOs as well as the entrepreneurs. And the third announcement was like, the government is they have clear intention to create a national e-market, which they call ENAM, and they now are committed to add 1,000 APMCs. So initially, state governments, you can say they were slightly averse 5 years back when ENAM was started, whether it is successful or not. But nowadays, I think, all the state governments are now supporting this central government concept, and they are giving entire data, whatever, trades are happening in the APMC mandi, and they are giving complete data, who is buying, who is selling, what kind of rate they are getting. Yeah. But at the same time, this ENAM gives an opportunity to create labs, laboratories, quality testing labs. ENAM is just a, like you can say, is a digital platform which is started by central government, but it requires a lot of, support system. One is a quality testing and labs. Second is a logistics. Third is a financing. Is somebody, some entrepreneurs, create, some business model where, they can support ENAM. So I think, it's a very, again, massive opportunity for entrepreneurs. And India is a very large market. We have a lot of, I think over 10,000 APMC mandis, and connecting them, it's a great opportunity, which ENAM is already doing, and we are also doing at Agri Bazaar in various states with the help of state government. So again, it's a very big opportunity for the entrepreneurs. Secondly, like this 1 lakh crore agri infrastructure fund will be available to agripreneurs and small businesses working in the agri field, and other than FPOs and agri cooperatives, that and other than the farm owners. Simply going to the central and state government portals, you can access this fund availability. During the day, Praveenji called me up and said, like, how can we see this, 1 lakh crore? We always listen that government has announced 1 lakh crore agri infra fund, but how can we see these schemes? So you can go and, check the various scheme on the portal. And today, like, I've set up like warehouses across India. Today we have around 600 warehouses across India. And we ask a lot of entrepreneurs to build warehouses for ourselves, for Star Agri, and we take on lease, and we help them to raise subsidy from NABARD or from the state governments, interest subsidy and all, and it's very easy. And so I think it's again this infra fund will give them a very big you can say advantage and opportunity towards this. I am more excited about the western part. Like, agri tech is a very big opportunity now for next 10 years, not only in India, but apart from, if you look at the western companies, those western startups where, like, where they've started a lot of plant-based meat, where, like, there is a company called Impossible Food in America. So I'm super excited about this company. The company is into this plant-based meat, which is like, it's a, you can say, they make vegetarian you can say meat, and it's a super successful company. Has become $3 billion company, very profitable. And our investor Temasek is invested around $600 million in that company, and it's very profitable model. So secondly, there is a company called FBN in America, where again our investor invested $100 million. The company is specialized in some seed production to satellite images and yield estimation and other things, AI, ML. And again, the company has become profitable and EBITDA positive and doing very well, has become $2 billion company. Third, there is a company called Perfect Day in US. It's again, they use molecule and they make ice creams. And again, their sales is recently, one of the investor was telling me they have crossed around $100 million sales, and again in India, and that's a massive opportunity for Indian entrepreneurs, Indian technocrats, where they can use advanced technology and create some innovation, something for something different, not only depend on the government schemes and some traditional models. So they have to think differently. They have to think how can they can be a differentiator. So through drones, we can expand spray technologies. So if somebody want to invest in drones, and if he set up a company where if he only trains drone pilots, so it is a very big business model. If somebody wants more advancement, if he just create a Uber kind of model for drones, where he can give drones on rent to Indian farmers, and if and he can also provide some good algorithm where he can this spray mechanism can be done. So again, it's a very massive opportunity. And recently civil aviation also approved drone uses in India. So I think nobody is working on that front, but I think it's a very big opportunity. Similarly, a drone also gives yield estimation. These drones click a photo and again give the images, and based on images, one can set up an algorithm and can predict the yield. So it will give the price risk uh, advantage to the farmers as well as the big traders. So give the proper supply and demand of the crop estimation. Then somebody can create a business model around it. So if somebody just think about the agriculture sector in more granular, more global way, then he can create a big value in this sector. And next 10 years is all about agri and agri and agri. And India has not done much about the technology, but now all the investors, every second day I hear that somebody has raised 2 million, somebody has raised 5 million, somebody has raised 10 million. All money, all VCs are now investing in agri-tech very heavily in India and around the world. And I think Indian entrepreneur should take advantage of this VC funding, plus low cost debt funding, and plus the environment is totally favorable towards agri and agri-tech. And I think people should take advantage of it.
Amiji, surely we agree with Star Agri that next 10 years is for agri. So
Yes.
there is no disagreement. It's complete agreement. Now I will move. I will like to ask one questions, maybe a doubt in my mind that as an entrepreneur you thought ahead of time, and today everybody is thinking how to enter in this space, and capital is available, opportunities are available. And thanks to one of the professional, Mr. Amber Dubey, who has created the drone policy, and now drone and everything, AI, ML, everything is available. Data is new oil, gold, and oxygen. But in agriculture, we can create oceans of data. Now, the how to enter and how to leverage the data, as you said, that price sensitivity, crop damage, and all sort of things can be monitored way in advance to make the agriculture more certain, less risky. Now, in this process, I would like to invite one of our next panelists, because we are now inching towards the session, furtherance of the session. Miss Sharmila Oswal and I will request Abhinav Singhvi to kindly introduce Sharmila ji, and then Sharmila ji, we would like to know how women can play a major role, because in Jito we believe complete equality, entrepreneurship, business, everything is there is no inequality. So please share your experience, and I will request Abhinav to please introduce Sharmila ji.
Namaskar. Sharmila ji Oswal is a British scholar, water diplomat, and water leader from Harvard, USA, chartered environmentalist, social worker, and water and environment expert. Recently, she was invited and appreciated by our Shri Narendra Modi ji, our Honorable Prime Minister, for a digital woman warrior concept. She was also appointed on Chief Minister's Council, State of Maharashtra, as a think tank on water governance, urban development and policies. She is an advisor on Namami Gang, strategist to BJP National Manifesto, and also associated with IIT Delhi for integrated water management. She, by qualification, she is a BSL LLB from ILS Law College and graduated LLM from University of Nottingham, UK, trained in corporate communications from Ireland and California, and leading ISB Hyderabad. There's a long list, and she's also trained by she was a former director and principal of Law College and under University of Pune. She is technical faculty of symbiosis, foreign trade, and ILS Law College till today. Over to you, Sharmila ji.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rishabh ji and Praveen ji, for giving me this opportunity. And I'm thanking my all digital women warriors gang here, because all this agri-tech and this all digitalized era has really influenced all the women to really come forward. So the Rishabh ji, what you have asked me question about the women and the entrepreneurial spirits, particularly with respect to the agro and after the post budget. Here I would like to mention, like, though the India is the land of villages and agriculture is considered as a backbone. And if you see the data, like 79% of women rural, the maximum side is from rural who's involved in the agricultural activities, but still women are mostly deprived of. But at the same time, before me, many previous speakers mentioned about the FPO. So now this FPO has given and opened the great opportunities for women to get into the agro sector, where they can have their own say, they can have their own choices, and they can work on their own space and freedom. Now, how it is possible? Now, because the time constraint is there, I cannot get into a lot of details. But as I said, we are into the digital era. We are running this digital women warriors concept supported by the Prime Minister Innovation Center. We are training our women to be digitally empowered. Ladakh is an excellent example. Just before some time, again, NABARD chairman mentioned, and again, we all are so proud of Rishabh ji being here with this LFPC. With the support of them, with their empowering the women of Ladakh, digital women warriors could take up Ladakh women, and we are coming up launching Ladakh Digi Bazaar, because we are operating 30 Digi Bazaars and DWW on Facebook community with Entrepreneurial Excel. It is 1.5 women members. So it's a huge marketplace where, like, Ladakh women, this Digi Bazaar of Ladakh, the producing saffron, apple, apricots, pashmina shawls, whatever the produces with the all resilient climate, with the rough and tough climatic conditions, with the LFPC, they are doing wonderfully, great efforts in the agricultural activities of Ladakh. So Ladakh women are involved here with us, and we are there to train, and we have adopted these villages. I will name this few, again with the help of LFPC, that is Vanla, Spurbachan, Tia, Lejdu, Achi Nathang, and I'm very proud to say our fellow colleague Jignet from Ladakh is doing wonderful work, and who has digitally empowered the agriculture activities through the all digital tools, cloud and like digital technology. So I'm very extremely proud of that. At the same time, how women, urban women, can get associate, or how urban women can develop, or let's say start agro business. Now, I would like to again give some case example. Rudy, rural distribution by Ahmedabad, Surat model with Seva, that is Seva is the NGO name, who has introduced this model, and they are distributing now into the 18 districts of Gujarat. And they are running this phenomenal model and registered as FPO. If you see the another model of Patan, near Patan, this again Gujarati, Kutch, Saurashtrian women, this Nachni no Rotla like Bhakri. So they are creating this tribal meals, and this tribal women's, they are attracting to the foreigners. And as you know, Indians, Patels, Jains, Gujaratis, Rajasthanis, whole of the Indian communities who are settled abroad, they are so much attracted to this tribal meals. So there is a very, fabulous marketing digital women warriors is coming up with, and we are helping them. Dungarpur is again another our case study, where there was water was a huge issue. Water was not getting percolated. Through our technology, Green Energy Foundation, We helped the 400 Adivasi crops to the smart water technology. So from, they were producing some wrong crops which needed lots of water. So we changed it to makka and moong crop and moong. I mean, at our homes, we make moong every day. And then we collaborated with ITC. So with the help of eChopal, we gave the, again, wonderful, platform for the marketing. Similarly, South Goa, with the Goa Corporation, we could come up with the 16 women who has come up with, and this vegetable cluster for, again, created by the urban and urban women. There is a beautiful combination to it. Now, again, in agripreneurial capacity, if you see the vegetables drying machines, or to dry vegetables on the solars, renewable energy, or if you see the vegetable clusters running by the urban women, you see the tribal meals. Like, let's say we have Dahanu near, there is village there. It's originated for the Varli. Now, Varli is a very fabulous art, and again, it's a famous place for chikus. So now women of this place, Palghar, Dahanu, can come up with again the same model, and we can convert it into the FPO. Now, our all digital women warriors who are here, joined here, and we are extremely proud to associate with Ladakh, to associate with Rishabhji, to associate in entire manner wherever women wants to start up FPO, or they want to come up in an entrepreneurial capacity as an agropreneur, or in agri-tech capacity. We are very much here to help you in every manner. So Rishabhji, if there is anything you want to ask, you can ask.
I think we have a lot of women, aspirational women in urban as well as rural. So the divide between urban and rural is no more there. After pandemic, one thing we realized, wherever you are sitting, roti, kapda, makan and broadband, if you have 4 things, you are good. Now I will request one of our, Indian who has chosen Uganda as a place to be, develop some large agriculture in lemongrass and Satavari. I will request Shri Ranjit Ji Bansali to please unmute and put your video on. We would like to understand from you that in 9 years, you are right now cultivating more than 20,000 acres of land and developing a lot of varieties there. What is your experience? Because this is a little bit digression, but we all want to know how you chosen a land which is completely unknown to you and you succeeded. What was the ingredient of success?
Jai Jinendra to all. Good evening. See, why I selected Uganda is a land of agriculture, sir. Here we are having 2 rainy seasons and annually 1500 to 2000 millimeter rainfall, and it rains around 9 to 10 months in a year. Good thing about Uganda, and it rains 2 to 3 times in a week. So it's a place of agriculture only, and here big land is available, labor is very cheaply available, input cost is higher, but country is very safe. I will say it is 2 times safer than, 3 times safer than India. People are very friendly over here, and there are a lot of Indians doing big agriculture. Like, if you may have heard about there are some families of Indians who are doing sugarcane farming on 50,000 acres, 60,000 acres, 40,000 acres, 100,000 acres. Single company is doing such farming. I shifted here over before 9.5 years. I found the opportunities into agriculture and mining are much more, and it's not everybody's ball game. The competition is not there. Looking to the industries competition was there. There are a lot of Indians over here. It's a very good country to be in. Like, I will give you one example, like fruit farming. Every fruit we are harvesting twice a year. Have you ever heard in India that mango plant is twice a year? That's the beauty about Uganda. That's why I selected. Challenges are there. Challenges are in the form of financing. Banking is very backward. They don't understand the things. So everything you have to multiply from your own profits. In India, if we have 1 crore rupees in our hand, we get 8 or 9 crore rupees from bank. Here you have 10 crore from yourself, you get 2 crore rupees from bank. So it's a reverse scenario. But margin are very good. We are doing a lot of herbal products. Now we are going into essential oil farming. The cost of production over here is practically in some of the products, it is 50% of India. People cannot even believe. And the yield which we are getting, let's say lemongrass, we have now started planting on 1400 acres. I think it will be the world's biggest project at single site, 1400 acres of lemongrass. Varieties are from India only. We selected the best varieties, Sikhar and Krishna. The yield and herbiage which we are getting here is 3 times higher than India. When we talk to the scientists over there in CIMAP, they don't even believe how it is possible. Because of the photo period, from 6 in the morning up to 7:30 in the evening, we have sunlight and daylight. That is the biggest photo period in the world. There is no winter in the country. summer is not there. Throughout the year, we have a tropical climate and it rains across the year. So these are the things which attracted us and brought me over here. So if somebody is interested over here into large scale farming, there are enormous opportunities, and it's a very, very, very safe country, and good education for kids and everything is available. So that was the thing I want to tell. Thanks for giving us.
Thank you, Ranjit, for your spontaneous thing. Praveen ji, yes.
ऋषभ जी, हमारे बीच में विमल शाह केन्या से हैं, वो भी हैं, जरा आप उनको भी इंट्रोड्यूस कीजिए.
Yes, Vimal bhai, I think he's the king of agripreneurship in Kenya, third generation entrepreneur doing large scale cultivation. He's also member of lot of international bodies. The world food jo ecosystem hai, he plays a very crucial role, and we are thankful, we are blessing that he's with us in this room today. Vimal bhai, we would like to know from you, how do you see opportunities of agriculture worldwide? Vimal bhai.
Thank you, Rishabh ji. Thank you, everyone. I think there's a lot of possibilities here. If you look at Africa overall, Africa has amazing amount of land available, greenery, water, unutilized people. So you've got a lot of opportunity in Africa. And obviously, agriculture is a mainstay of the economy, and that has got a lot more to do. So I think overall, when you look at it from an angle of opportunity, everything is opportunity. The other thing is that access to markets. Africa Continental Free Trade Area has just opened up, so you can export across Africa without any taxes or duties. So overall, with the water, with the nutrients, with the sun, we are on the equator here. So you have 12 hours of sun all the time. So I think overall, huge opportunity for agriculture. Obviously, we do also oil palm plantations in Uganda. We have 30,000 acres there right now. We have another 30,000. We're putting up another island. So in Kenya, we do sunflower, soybeans, oil seeds, and potato farming. So there's a lot more to be done. I think horticulture exports to Europe directly by air every single day. We have about 6 flights every day leaving from Kenya, going and taking this product. So I think there's a lot more to be done. And anyway, Africa is the land of opportunity, and welcome.
Sir.
Thank you, Vimal bhai. And if we ask you one question, would you like to invest in India? If India also offer some opportunity at a large scale, would you be interested?
In agriculture?
In agriculture, agripreneurship, the value processing, and because there are certain variety which India can only grow. So would you be interested as a global agripreneur?
Sir, I supplement your question too. How you advise how our agripreneur can be associated with Kenya and with you?
Yes. You have to unmute, sir. Vimal bhai, you have to unmute. Yeah. It is still mute.
To unmute. Now I can unmute. Yeah. Okay. So I think there are many possibilities. Would I invest in India? I did come to India to look at the oil palm and make it a plantation crop and look at that. But really, the regulations there were difficult, and it's not an easy place. I think I would rather invest in Africa, because Africa is far more opportunity and easier to do business with. And I think you've got enough Indians who can invest in India. So I'd rather look at Africa as a big space. But overall, yes, there's opportunities here. I think it's got to go back to creating smart partnerships. It's got to go back to looking at technology. What is it that somebody's bringing? Bringing money alone, everybody, the Chinese, the Americans, they're all bringing in money. There's enough money available. But I think it's the expertise, the know-how, the do-how, and creating something different for the world. So I think that's how you can associate. And if you form groups into coming into Africa, get countries to invite you. The countries will actually say, we are inviting you to come in here and look at many more things. So there's a huge opportunity in agriculture and agribusiness. We haven't even touched, anything big yet. There's a lot more to be done, and opportunities await. Wide open. Make it such that you come with substantial capital and substantial ecosystem. I think Rishabh bhai, you know very well that there's something that's going to be happening in the near future.
Yes, I think the message is loud and clear from Vimal bhai. Form a group. All the agripreneurs should join hands, create access to capital, access to knowledge, access to technology, and then world will be yours. The world has just opened up to the organic farming, to high value crops, to value processing. So thank you, Vimal bhai. Thank you, Ranjit bhai, for joining us for a special, angle to it. And I'm sure all the agripreneurs who are listening in this room would appreciate that this budget is an agri budget, the union budget of India. India has realized the power. The biggest threat is your biggest opportunity. That is what we all believe, that if you can't convert the threat into opportunity, then opportunity is gone. So we have one agripreneur from India, Mahendra Bhai Thakur. He is listening very patiently, and I would request that Mahendra Bhai Thakur, if you can just, he's a biotechnologist and he helped hundreds of FPO. Right now, he's working with some FPO in Madhya Pradesh, your area, Pravinji. So Mahendra Bhai Thakur, could you please unmute and talk a little about your experience and on this budget?
Good evening. This was nice to interact with all members. Basically, what I observed since 1997, this is a very right time where we are although working in this field, but the another part where everyone is looking after a good food, where it may be organic or a residue free. This is a time where the buyer is available. Everyone wants a good food for a health point of view. And in another way, India has an opportunity where this time this budget has created. Basically, we lack in infrastructure. So basically, if we could develop an infrastructure at a rural base, so it would be a very happy. So I would suggest all either entrepreneurs or investors to basically focus a rural part. There are many opportunities in rural India. And recently we realized that there is a many part which is by default organic in India, which can be explored very well. There are seriously working peoples are there. And basically, again, I salute you all, the women farmers, they are very sincerely working. So it's our responsibility to have such projects, either it may be via NABARD or via any other project, like in Maharashtra, we have a smart project. So in such a way, we have to focus a rural part for a development. It will be very good for us also sitting from city to a rural part. People are very nice. And once we develop an infrastructure, basically transportation, and we have to really have one, like a service provider, or we can say where the proper training may be specific to a product wise, how it can be stored, and what will be the market linkages. So that is the again challenge we have with this present situation, how this local product can be explored and in a good city, and it can be transported, and it can have a good logistic support. So that way is a good opportunity again. Thank you.
Your ideas, definitely there are a lot of allocations happening, and I would request now just Sharmila ji in 5 seconds, if you can tell how women can be part of the FPO.
बेसिकली एफपीओ में विमेन के लिए पर्टिकुलरली दे कैन, जैसे अगर कोई भी एग्रीकल्चर का प्रोड्यूस आता है, इट नीड सॉर्टिंग, ग्रेडिंग, प्राइस एनालिस्ट, ट्रेंड जो है मार्केट का, R&D है, इवन अभी अमित जी ने बताया HR है, डिजिटल वर्क है, देयर आर लाइक एम्पल ऑफ वर्क. अब हम जो जिससे कहते हैं फोक टू प्लेट, मतलब फार्म टू प्लेट, तो इसके बीच में जो सारी प्रोसेस है, लॉजिस्टिक्स है, operations है, managing the FPO operations, these are all the responsibilities which women can do very efficiently.
Thank you very much. And now Praveen ji, we are heading towards the end. As we say that everybody's time is precious. 7:30 is happening. So Praveen ji, I would like you to please conclude this session, and I hope that a lot of queries which you have raised in the chat box we are going to take up, and in the next 2-3 minutes, please put your email ID and phone number if you really want us to get you notified, and all the expert details will be shared with you, so that the recording and the expert detail will be shared with you. Over to you, Praveen ji.
Before concluding the session, just I want to ask the one question with from Sharmila ji Oswal. What are the opportunities available for the professional in this FPO formation and FPO creation? In a brief, just tell me. There are many number of chartered accountants or professionals are there, and they are less working on the FPO. So just give a reply in 1 minute. Is there any opportunity for the FPOs?
Yeah, basically I think CA and accountancy तो देखने को जाए तो it's a soul. FPO का अगर real soul है तो वो CA है. CA ही उसको जो चाहिए FPO, क्योंकि सारा major अगर मतलब सारी जो उलाढाल है, सारी जो चीजें हैं वो professionally in a very scalable and in a very I think professional manner can be done by CA. Is it the right? I think you asked me the question like what are the opportunities for CA or women? I mean, what was?
Yeah, I think you have partly answered. So, but even for the engineers, there is an opportunity in drone technology. Train the people to run the drone. Train the people in biotechnology, quality certification labs. So it is not only accounting, finance, governance, legal, mediation, arbitration. There are humongous opportunity when the 20,000 FPO will be there. Every FPO will be a company from 50 lakh to 5 crore or 15 crore, as Dr. Chintala said. So it is not a small thing. It's an organized structure. Indian agriculture is getting organized. It is becoming agri-venture, agri-business. The next 20 years is for agri-ventures. Now I will request Kamalendra Srivastava ji, because he was talking about apple procurement from Kashmir. So, sir, Srivastava sir, since you are into procurement of oil seed, pulses, apple, all those things which you are talking about, that future lies in them. Would you advise that people should spend on R&D, the research and development for the new and new varieties, so that we can grow, like our friend from Uganda was saying that he can grow the lemongrass, which is 2 times higher than India. Should we also put some money on research?
Yeah, definitely. We should put money on research, because even though we may be taking proud that we are world's first largest producer of this and largest producer of that, actually, that is mainly because of the excess land we have. Our productivity is still one of the lowest in the world. So we need to put in the money actually to R&D and derive benefits from that, actually, to increase the productivity and derive the benefits of the yield, and open to access the markets not only in India but abroad also. So R&D will definitely be a good bet. Yeah.
I think there will be we will all request that our finance ministry should give some benefit for the R&D, because every research, every trial has to be successful, but someone has to put money into it. So thank you for all the experts. Praveen ji, I would request you now to formally, give a vote of thanks.
Now I will ask to Mr. Abhay Jain साहब, our JBN convener industry group, to आज आए हुए सभी लोगों को, हमारे स्पीकर्स, हमारे गेस्ट, बाहर से ज्वाइन किए हुए, चाहे वो नीदरलैंड से हो, चाहे युगांडा से हो, चाहे केन्या से हो, सभी के लिए मैं हृदय से आभारी हूं. आप आए, आपने हम सबको अपने हमारे कार्यक्रम की शोभा बढ़ाई. साथ ही साथ हमारे स्पीकर्स ने, नाबार्ड के चेयरमैन साहब, नेफेड के श्री कमलेंद्र जी श्रीवास्तव साहब, हमारे अमित अग्रवाल साहब और श्रीमती शर्मिला जी ओसवाल का हृदय से आभारी हूँ. आपने अपना वैल्यूबल टाइम निकाला, हमें अपने विचारों से, अपने एक्सपीरियंस से ज्ञानवर्धित किया, जिसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. साथ ही जीटो के सारे साथियों को जिन्होंने इस कार्यक्रम में अपनी उपस्थिति दर्ज कराई. साथ ही साथ जीटो के अलावा नॉन जीटो मेंबर्स जो अलग अलग फील्ड और अलग अलग प्रोफेशन से जुड़े हुए थे, उन्होंने भी आकर यहाँ हमें समय दिया, हमारे कार्यक्रम की शोभा बढ़ाई, जिसके लिए हम हृदय से उनके बहुत बहुत आभारी हैं. साथ ही हमारे साथ काम करने वाली टीम जीटो अपेक्स में बैठी हुई, चाहे वो सिद्धेश हो, चाहे प्रवीण हो, चाहे हमारे हिमांशु भाई, मोटा भाई हो, सब ने जो रात दिन अथक प्रयास किया, बिना उनके ये सब चीज संभव नहीं थी. साथ ही साथ चाहे वो सावन सुखा जी हमारे साथ हो, लेकिन उनके बगैर इस कार्यक्रम में 4 चांद नहीं लगने थे. ये जब उनसे सब चीज डिस्कस हुई तो समझ में आया. तो हम भी उनके बहुत बहुत आभारी हैं, जो उन्होंने अपना वैल्यूएबल टाइम निकालकर हमें उद्बोधित किया. दूसरी एक चीज बताना चाहता हूं, ये हमने एक शुरुआत की है, अब ऐसी चेन चलती रहेगी. अभी हमने ऋषभ जी का थोड़ा सा ही अनुभव का उपयोग किया है. जब इनसे आप एक एक चीज पे डिस्कस करेंगे तो ही विल इनलाइटन अस ऑन मेनी थिंग. शर्मिला जी जो वाटर मैनेजमेंट पे हमें बहुत अच्छे से बता सकती हैं. कमलेंद्र श्रीवास्तव जी, आज हम बीच में उनको इंटरप्ट करना पड़ा हमें, क्योंकि उधर से चेयरमैन साहब का फोन आ रहा था कि ही इज इन रूम. तो मैंने इसलिए सर मैं माफी भी चाहूंगा, और आपका बहुत बहुत आभारी, आपने समय निकाला और हमें उद्बोधित किया. एक बार पुनः आप सबका आने के लिए, कार्यक्रम में जुड़ने के लिए एपेक्स टीम के लोगों का भी, और आप सभी का बहुत बहुत आभार. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
धन्यवाद प्रवीण जी. प्रवीण जी हमारे जेबीएन फूड एंड एग्री बिजनेस के कन्वीनर हैं, और एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट होने के नाते वो बिजनेस के फाइनेंस एंगल और बिजनेस एंगल दोनों को देखते हैं। धन्यवाद आपका भी इस कार्यक्रम को पूरी तरह से जो है सक्सेसफुल बनाने के लिए। एंड नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट दैट एनी फीडबैक, any query you have, kindly share in the chat box and we are going to share respond to you. प्रवीण जी, आप अपना ईमेल आईडी, शर्मिला जी और श्रीवास्तव साहब, अगर आप अपना ईमेल आईडी शेयर कर सकें जिससे कि हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट भी लाभान्वित होंगे, आपसे कनेक्ट करेंगे और उनका कोई क्वेरी होगा, डाउट होगा तो वो आपसे साझा करेंगे, विचार साझा करेंगे। और मैं आप सभी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि हम जो है इस कार्यक्रम को अब समाप्त करते हैं। 5 मिनट का हमारा देरी हुई है, 7:30 पे समाप्त करना था, 7:35 हो गए, उसके लिए मैं क्षमा चाहता हूँ।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
अरे वैभव, क्या बात है, कोई उलझन में हो क्या? क्या बताऊं रवि, सही समय पे जानकारी ना मिल पाने की वजह से इस बार भी मुझसे हमारी इंडस्ट्री का बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट एग्जीबिशन अटेंड करना मिस हो गया, जिसका सीधा असर हमारे बिजनेस पे पड़ता है। भाई डोंट वरी, क्योंकि अब आ गया है myexi.com, जिसमें रजिस्ट्रेशन कर आप अपनी कैटेगरी के देश भर में होने वाले एग्जीबिशन की जानकारी एडवांस में पा सकते हैं, वो भी सीधा SMS और ईमेल से। हाँ वैभव, MyExi अपने बिजनेस और करियर को ग्रो करने का एक बेहतरीन प्लेटफॉर्म है। पर क्या मैं रजिस्ट्रेशन फीस अफोर्ड कर पाऊंगा? मुझे तुम्हें बताते हुए बहुत खुशी हो रही है कि फिलहाल MyExi में रजिस्ट्रेशन बिल्कुल फ्री है। आज ही रजिस्ट्रेशन कर लो ताकि कोई इम्पोर्टेंट एग्जीबिशन आगे से मिस ना हो। आप भी रजिस्टर कीजिए www.myexi.com